Welcome to the Sun Island.
Welcome, guys. We have another one here. Super excited to be talking to Chris Hackus. He is with eXp Realty, the Thang Trong team.
Tai Chung
team.
Yes, sir.
Totally messed that up.
You got it.
But super excited. You know, we're in the solar space, and the fact that we're getting to speak with a realtor, will be good advice for folks who are trying to get homes, stuff like that in general. So we're going to start, man, kind of like digging into a little bit of your background, how you end up in this space, and so kind of kick it off.
Yeah. So again, I am Christopher Hawkins with the Tai Chung team at eXp Realty. What got me into real estate was actually I went on faith, man. I come from I have a biology degree at Texas Southern University where I studied. So I am a Tiger. Shout out to Tigers.
You're actually talking to a Tiger, right?
Yes, sir. Big up yourself.
All day, baby. Let's go.
Originally from Miami, been living in Houston since 2003. So I do consider myself a Houstonian. As I was mentioning before, biology major. I come from a biology background. Clinical laboratory science is what I was doing. Not to make it go too long on the story, but I'm big into my faith. Went to church one day, and at the time I was following John Gray. Some people may know him. And he was saying there was going to be a miracle that's going to happen the next day. And believe it or not, the next day, a realtor walked up to me and pretty much recruited me. She was like, hey, you just seem like a very jovial person. I think, she kind of gave me the background of her career. And I just went out on faith and dropped everything from there back in 2018 and been doing it ever since, man.
Wow. So were you working in the medical field prior to
I was more on the laboratory settings, Novum Pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of boring for lack of better words. Didn't really fit my personality. Kind of just, did the school thing, just to make mom and dad proud. Bring in a degree and show them that, hey, we got our college degree, and then kind of found my niche, in real estate.
So Miami.
Yes, sir.
You have some Jamaican heritage, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's kind of like where parents met up. Who's Jamaican, mom or dad, or mom and dad?
Both parents are Jamaican. Mom from Port Antonio, Portland. Dad's from Kingston. They both met in New York. And we're kind of spread out all over the place. And had me in Miami, Florida, born and raised in Miami, Florida, graduate of North Miami Beach Senior High. NMB in the building, you guys already know.
Let's go. Yeah, that's a pretty neat connection, man. So I'm going to use this to kind of go a little bit more further. Background-wise, what was it like in the U.S. being raised by immigrant parents?
Well, if we was to say what it was like, I would say it was a grind. It was a hustle. We started from not very much to working our way up to having what we have now, which I won't say is a lot, but is more than we had before. So that immigrant background did instill a hustle into me, man. Just always had me wanting to grind and always want more. My mom worked 2 or 3 jobs. My dad, more, in the street guy, kind of, making a living, by any means necessary, And just, that immigrant background just kind of gave me my hustle, showing me what hard work is,
Yeah, immigrants build this nation, man, for real. It's a country built by immigrants. And I always say immigrants get the job done. It does instill in us a need to strive. I spoke to someone recently, and I was trying to share my story with him, and being an immigrant, and he said, "Do you actually know why immigrants are so successful?" And I kind of fumbled a little bit. I'm like, yeah, we hustle, we work hard. And he kind of pointed out to me that immigrants usually come here with a singular vision. So we typically have focus and we are trying to pursue a specific thing. And two things typically drive us, right? Love to the new environment that we got in. And oftentimes it's fear from what we're coming from, right? And in a book that I always reference here, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that's like one of the major idea behind that whole concept is only two things basically motivates people, either love or fear. And for immigrants, it's like, it's just built in, man. So that's beautiful. So you moved to Texas when? When did you move to Texas?
I moved in Texas back in 2003.
2003.
Came here for college.
TSU?
Texas Southern. Got kind of homesick, to be honest with you. So I went back home, probably back in '06. And then I moved back to Texas and completed my degree in 2010.
It's amazing, man. So
Yeah.
you kind of have that focus, like you can, that's really neat. Let me point that out. Because I personally, I'm halfway done with my master's at UHD.
You're almost there, brother. Keep pushing.
And it's like, I'm thinking, do I need to go back or am I good? I feel like I'm good, but it's like, I just need to finish this thing because I started it, right?
Exactly.
That's kind of like where I'm at. It's not even about the degree at this point. It's like, I started it, I'm going to finish it. But what keep you motivated of a span of like, what, 7 years?
Yeah.
To hop back into school, man?
It's really the same thing, you know. It's something that I started, you know what I mean, and I wanted to finish. And then also, you know, I like I said before, you know, I want to make mom and dad proud. You know, this is something. I am a first family of 7, 4 brothers, 3 sisters, and I am the first graduate. I'm the middle child.
Congrats, man.
And I'm proud to say that all my siblings under me have college degrees.
Set the pace, bro.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
You know,
That's
just
what's
be
up,
an
man.
example to my younger siblings and stuff like that, making mom and dad proud, and you know, making my siblings proud, and you know, finish something that I started. You know what I mean? Because that's very important for a man. I think that, you know, if we start something, we should finish it. We should finish.
Absolutely. So you mentioned getting homesick. That can be a big thing for a lot of people. I had a conversation. I can't remember who exactly I was speaking to, and you know, they were letting me know that if you you know, are striving for anything in particular, you really have to get laser focus to kind of put everything aside and actually pursue that. You're a realtor, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
that's a pretty neat career, right? It's a neat career. I remember when I was getting into solar, a realtor tried to recruit me. And for everybody, they got their calling. Mine was just solar. So nothing could have got me away from solar. They saw some level of probably what they saw in you, some level of charisma, some level of grind. And they're like, you should come into real estate. And I'm like, I'm set on this solar thing. But I'm happy that you kind of found your calling. A lot of people do get their calling, though, which come in the form of an idea or come in the form of just somebody saying something random to them and they don't act. What made you act? Because in my opinion, that's the reason why you're actually a realtor. Because that lady could have convinced you from here to next year or to Timbuktu or whatever, but if you didn't act, you wouldn't have been a realtor to change your life. What caused you to act?
Well, it was really just faith. You know, I'm very. I try to walk in faith. You know, so yeah. I was told this would happen, and I went out on faith, man. To be completely honest with you, so I'm very grounded when it comes on to those aspects of life. So if when those type of opportunities present itself, I'm going to be the first one on it.
Yeah, you mentioned faith a couple of times, man, and I respect that. Faith can move mountains. Yeah, a lot of people say that, and I do find, I have strong faith, but I sometimes I like, man, I kind of just want a faith, like, so because when people are truly faithful, you can't tell them nothing. Their faith is gonna come through every single time, which is great, right? It gives you a sense of relief, and that's good when you're actually putting in the work, because faith without work is dead, right? It's
Of
dead,
course, of
right?
course.
So that works beautiful for people who actually execute. It's a detriment, in my opinion, to people who are just thinking that something is going to fall from the sky and there's a pie somewhere that they're going to eat and survive, right? So I understand it from both directions, if you will. Where did that faith came from you? Because I know in Jamaica, I think we have the most church per square mile in that country. In the world, actually. I think that's an
Definitely.
actual statistic.
No.
And something else interesting. That's why Jamaicans are so. That's why our culture is so effervescent. We also have the most bars per square mile. Because every church, dude, got a bar. Like,
That is true.
anybody who's
That is
ever
true.
been to Jamaica will know that for
They can
sure.
attest to that
But
correctly.
and part of the reason is a lot of rum is consumed at funeral. You know, that's one of the reasons. A lot of rum is consumed at funerals. So somebody dies, the church, and then the guy is doing the
to the bar.
celebration. So
Yes.
it's a cultural thing. But it make it
What is
vibrant.
it? Nine night.
A nine, right? You've ever been to one of those?
Of course.
What was that? Describe that in your own, what a night is, and what was that
Night
experience like for
is
you?
a all day, possibly all night event. It's pretty much a celebration. You know what I mean?
Huge celebration.
It's a celebration. There's a lot of food, friends, family, alcohol, conversation. It's just everyone getting together to celebrate life. You know, that is pretty much my experience of it. I do not enjoy going to them because of the sad aspect of what we're here for, but it does bring fulfillment to me to that we can get together because at 9 nights, you always see people you haven't seen for a long time, family members, and it's a good time to reunite with loved ones and friends.
That's a true. And the reason why I asked you, I kind of wanted your take on it, kind of being raised by Jamaica, and kind of see the culture from two lenses. Being born and raised and have, because you go back pretty often, right?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you're there, but again, it's a cultural thing, right? Because you're there and you're like, in the back of your mind is like something sad, but the culture will let you forget it.
Forget about it.
Because to us, it's not sad, man. It really isn't. It's really a celebration, because it's what's the point of being sad, the thing is, those 9 night thing that you call, the 9 night is like the ninth night after the person passed.
Okay.
But what a lot of people don't realize, you have your neighbors in your house from the day of the death all the way, like just coming through, like the whole neighbor, no invitation, and it make you feel as one, right? So that is just a cultural thing. So by the time the 9 night come or in the funeral, it maybe just at the funeral you get sad again,
The grief.
but you have so much
Love.
people coming to support. You don't even think about the death, man. So that's a pretty neat experience that you had. In what other ways do you enjoy that culture? Because it's, as I said, it's an effervescence one. What are some stuff kind of growing up that you like, that, man, my parents are Jamaican, I like this about that fact? What are some of those things?
Music. music. Honestly, I love dancehall music. I love music, period. So, but I might have a biased opinion. I do think dancehall music is or reggae music for dancehall is a deviation of reggae. But
It is.
yeah, the music and just the culture. You know what I mean? I think Jamaicans just have like like their personalities, man. It's just like, I mean, their outlook on life is different. You know, just coming from, you know, honestly, it's a third world country. I don't know if anyone ever been to a third world country, but you know,
Struggle is real.
the struggle is real, but those people are proud. They're happy. You know what I mean? Like their personality is like, you know, is like unbreakable. You know what I mean? They can't be broken, even though this one may not have a job or know where their next meal is coming from, but you know, he's still gonna put on his best clothes. He's gonna, you know, tell the best jokes, put on his best dances, and you know, they just have that personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is, man. Like a place where people, they don't look at their struggles. They look at their opportunities, bro. Like, and it just make you like ironclad, man. Like, dude, they'll have like a big stage show because you mentioned dance hall. A stage
course,
show
yeah.
is like a concert. We
Yes,
call it
yes.
dance a stage show,
familiar.
right? Where huge concert, people go, and sometime, you know, rain. It will rain out. The concert will rain out. But nothing stopped for
Nothing will
Jamaican
stop.
parties,
Oh,
right?
no, nothing.
You got guys out there they're just in the community. They're like, these ladies are wearing heels. They don't want to wear their heels in the mud. They'll bring them on their back for $1, man. They'll do anything to
yes.
earn a living. And then that's one of the greatness about that culture, man. People really, really see themselves as making it. They could have nothing. Like you'll have a guy on a stall. A stall is basically like when you sell on the roadside, right? And you probably have a couple of these, like a couple of drinks and a couple of dry snacks. And he does not see the drinks and the dry snacks. He see Walmart. No, I'm being serious,
No,
man.
honestly,
Their
I
vision for themselves is immense, and I love that about the culture. Unfortunately, you know, the people, they're great. Sometimes some of the policies or how the leaders treat them doesn't, it doesn't feed that part of him.
Correct.
You see what I mean? So I'll give you an example with that same side street business where you'd have police or whatever come and just totally humiliate them, even though they're not supposed to be there, try to get rid of him. I mean, leaders should probably see that and be like, these people are trying to make a living and find a clean, decent area to put them in, right? I always tell people, like, whenever they go to Jamaica, find somebody that they can trust and go to real Jamaica.
Yes.
Because real Jamaica ain't the beaches, man. That's a tourist trap, in my opinion.
It's a big part of it, though.
Yeah, it's a huge part of it. It is a gigantic part of it, and we can't deny that. But the country has so much more to offer, man, culturally than the sea, sand, and sex.
I agree 100%, man.
Cool, Vince.
100%.
Yeah, so kind of jump back into the realtor space now because we kind of went off there. We both love our roots, man, which is amazing.
Yes, sir.
Jumping back into the realtor space, I see a lot of people get into that game and they don't last. Everybody and their mama trying to be a realtor. Real talk, right?
Yeah.
What separate the many from the few who actually cream that rise to the top?
Well, it's really your process. One, you know what I mean? Because real estate is it's going to challenge you every day. And I would say no day is the same. You got to be very flexible. You got to be resilient. You got to really, really hone into your process. Process being your lead generating, your follow up game, your marketing, your budget. There's so many things that goes into it, but it's only the strong survive, man. Really and truly, it's really and truly is about if it's something that you really want, you know, just like anything else, you're gonna go after it by any means necessary.
Yeah, and the reason why I positioned it like that, you know, a lot of people start things as we were talking earlier, and they don't push through to the hard times, right? In your opinion, being a realtor now, you've been a realtor for like 3-4 years, you mentioned?
5 years.
5 years?
Yes.
Yeah, 5 years.
Full time.
Full time. What are some of the biggest challenges of being a realtor?
Some of the biggest challenges I would say is the uncertainty, not knowing what tomorrow may bring. You know what I mean? I would say, if you don't have a good process as far as like a good lead generator, then, you have no business. So I would say, yes, it's really the process, really just finding a good, team or a good lead gen that you could find and really, really concentrate on that. And,
So if you concentrate on your lead gen, good processes, you should be in good shape.
you should be in good shape. I mean, and I didn't go all into knowing your stuff because that should be already anything you go into. You need to know what
So
you're
talk
doing.
to me, man. Like I don't know nothing because I really don't.
Okay,
You
okay.
see? And different people can consume or content, right? And since for eternity, getting into real estate is always been a way how people try to accelerate or try to grow their wealth potentially, right? Their wealth potential exponentially. So some of the question that I'm kind of asking is like somebody that may be watching and they had that conversation with somebody a year ago, 6 months ago, and they've yet to move on it, right? You are actually providing some insight. So like some of the negative part of it and some of the positive. So the greatest downfall and some of the greatest highlight, in your opinion, of being a realtor are?
Well, that question has a lot of parts to it. So as far as what I would recommend for someone as a new person that want to get into real estate is find a good mentor. Training is super important. You're going to need to know what you're doing because without the knowledge, no one's going to trust you with one of the biggest purchases that they could ever make in their life. So you're going to need to know the process, the ins and outs. If I need to get into details about those processes,
Not too much details, but
okay.
yeah, no. Just high level.
Kind of, know your contract, know the market, have a good idea of, you're the quarterback of a whole real estate transaction. So you got to know a little bit of everything. You got to know some of what the title company does. You need to know what the lender does. You need to know what you do. You need to know the process to know how to negotiate, understand the market conditions of how to negotiate an offer or to get into contract. On another end, then, that's why I say you need to find a good mentor, because honestly, just going out there straight from school, you're really not going to know because what they teach you in school is pretty much contracts and the laws and regulations. But when you go into the field, how to apply that to where people understand it is really important. And I don't really think schools really just give you that. Only thing that really give you that is experience. So, find a good team, a good mentor, someone that you could shadow for a while. And then, kind of bring you up to speed until you get your own wings and be able to, fly on your own.
Yeah, you said negotiation. To me, negotiation is a part of selling, right?
Yeah.
So
We're buying and selling.
yeah. So what's your philosophy on sales? Like, what is the biggest thing if you should try to encourage somebody who's getting into sales job, just in general? That don't has to be realtor. What would you say like the number one thing is? Like, you got to hone in on this. Is it negotiation? Is it your rapport building? Is it what would you say the number one thing?
Well, the first thing is finding what the client needs, knowing how to, get them to the end goal of what they're looking for. Rapport is definitely, you have to build rapport. You have to get someone to like you for them to.
But not everybody have such a bright smile like you, man. You got a very likable face. I just look at you, hey, man, let me sign the contract right now. But
that's how everyone feels about me when they see me. But I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
But just building rapport is super important, but really and just truly in just understanding your clientele and how to get them to what they want. Because as a realtor, I don't really look at it as a sales job. The house sells itself. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Your real job is to getting them to their end goal. So let's say when I say get them to the end goal, it's like a lot of people say, "Hey, I see that house and I want it," right? But how do we get it? First, we got to get you pre-qualified. Do you have the credit score to get you qualified? Do you qualify to get to that house? Then secondly is, okay, now that we found the house and we qualified, how do we get it? Especially in a competitive market. Houston being everyone sees the Houston boom and what's happening, you know what I mean?
And working from home, people just moving from everywhere to buy a house. Continue. Yeah.
It is ridiculous of the numbers of out of towners that is moving to Houston. I was talking to someone the other day, and they said Houston is going to be the New York of the South. And honestly, when he said that, that really stood out to me because I work with Zillow, so I work with a lot of out-of-state clients because Zillow being one of those platforms that a lot of consumers use, being that it's super friendly, user-friendly, and stuff like that. So it's very easy to use. A lot of people do go through Zillow, and I would say about 80% of my business is out-of-state clients.
Interesting.
Yes.
So 80% out of state. So they go through Zillow, and then Zillow capture the lead and send it to you.
Correct.
Oh,
So Zillow captures the lead. They go through Zillow. Zillow kind of pre-qualifies these people, find their need, and then connect them to an agent to assist them with their property search. So. Yeah, you have to be a preferred agent. Of course, you have to have a number of sales, and it does come with a cost. You know what I mean? Nothing is free. Everything is. This is a business that we're running.
are you implementing? Because I've been thinking about this for solar, and in my business, trying to figure out ways how to implement like different AI technology, like stuff like that. Is that a thing yet in real estate?
It is a thing. It's a new thing. I don't know if you're familiar with ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. It's so
something like
new,
that.
and I'm not
Yeah.
even 100% familiar with it.
Yeah.
But I have been taking courses into it because AI is the future. So I mean, real estate is going to be heavily impacted by this. I'm sure if it hasn't already. I have been dabbling in it very, very little, but this is something that I do plan on, kind of getting a good grasp and see how would benefit my business in the.
What I've been thinking about of late is just getting content out there more and more, because we're talking about leads, right? And it's so important to just entrepreneur in general, right? That's the reason why people create whole companies to facilitate small business owners like me, yourself, etc. Content creation, man, I really think that people are sleeping on it. I really do think so. And I kind of came up in lead generation through the hard knocks, like literally
Knocking doors.
knocking on people's
Yes, sir.
door.
Yes, sir.
So I'm so happy. Like it gives me so much joy that I am trying, right? Because I'm half introvert, half extrovert. I'm so happy I got out my shell where I'm kind of putting my face on camera, kind of just get it out there. Like, yo, this is what I do. I sell solar panels, bro. You want it, you don't want it. Because basically, that's what we do on people's door all day long.
Correct.
And that's okay if you're doing it for the right reason. You see where I'm coming from? But I really do think people are sleeping, man, on content creation. Like in the real estate space, do you have any person that apart from yourself, right, that you see that is using content creation to just outflank in their competitors? And you don't have to call a name, but just describe it, what you're seeing.
I have a name.
Oh, yeah?
I have a name to call. Yes, I do. Tai Chung.
Okay.
Tai Chung. He's also a realtor. His content that he put out is just like,
Where you find him? On all the platforms?
you can find him on all the platforms.
So it's at
Facebook,
Tai Chung?
yeah, at Tai Chung, pretty much.
Chung. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's he's all into that.
So he
AI.
outflanks his competitors. So like, what are some of the stuff that you're seeing them do that you're impressed with?
The videos. They're always doing like small clips, informational videos, and or like doing like little tours of properties or upcoming listings, or just a lot of information. Just bringing people in, attracting people. You know what I mean? Creating contact that attracts people, that people want to hear.
Inbound marketing.
Correct.
Yeah, that inbound marketing is the truth.
And
once you
honestly,
figure it out,
that is the cheapest lead gen that you can have as for a new agent. You know what I mean? Because everyone has phones. You know what I mean?
and it makes so much sense, man. And then the thing is, especially when you're coming up through the hard knocks, or you're used to it a certain way, you're like inbound. No, people don't want to talk to you, but they actually do.
No, they actually do.
They meet you virtually, like they really do, and they're like, I want to do or not do business with that person, and that's okay.
I've seen this a lot in my experience that I would say about 30% of the people that come in, they want to see what type of content you put out before they want to work with you. They ask you about your social media platforms, and as like a preliminary before, actually getting down with you or working with you. Yeah.
And that is so true, because I thought of that the other day. There was a roofer that wanted to work with me. And it was a rep with another company that I was training a lot of their sales rep to transition to sell solar as well. As that roof, I mean, you sell the roof, why not sell some solar panel? Because from my assessment, about a third of the people who just changed their roof, they're gonna go solar within the next 2 to 3 years. From my assessment, what I've been seeing. And they brought me into their organization and kind of ran the numbers, and that's what they saw. Like, if they reach out to like 10 people, about 3 of them new roofs that they just changed. Like, these are data that I'm talking about. Like, new roofs that a roofer changed, about 3 of those people come back like, legit, we're gonna go with another company to get their solar.
That's good numbers.
Yeah, that's excellent
That's
numbers.
good numbers, yeah.
Why is it excellent numbers? Because there's a lot of people aren't even aware of how solar works. So the simple fact of them getting that knowledge just put you in the door. So you really would sit with probably like 7 of those, you see? And then it kind of worked with there. But anyways, that guy worked for a company that I was training a lot of his rep. He got promoted to another company. So he's like at a higher level. And he reached out to me trying to have me replicated what I did at the company that he was with the new boss that he's impressing, which I like, right? He reached out to me and said, hey, Shannon, we need to set up a meeting so you can talk to the owners of how we can do what you did for this other company. And the first thing I did, man, I sat for probably like 15 minutes going through their social. I'm like,
See what they're about.
If I'm gonna do business with these people,
Yes.
I went through all the reviews. I went through, you know what I mean? Kind of really assess them. So, and I've never met them. I just met one of their agent. But now I'm like, oh yeah, I'll definitely want to do business with these people. So the social game, man, I really do think people are sleeping on it. But it kind of comes to change, right? You've made a big change from not, to have predictability, to going from a job where you literally say one of the biggest things is like kind of not knowing, right? Could you encourage somebody or kind of give your 2 cents on why people should not let change cripple their decisions?
Change, with change comes with new beginnings. It's change brings like a new market. New market brings new opportunities. New opportunities bring great business ventures, lucrative ones, I would say, because it's it's change, it's new. You know what I mean? It's not something that's done before, if I could say it like that. So that's why I would say, like, anytime you're gonna change, there's gonna be something new. You're tapping into a untapped market for yourself per se, because really and truly what we do, someone's probably already done it before, but for yourself, you know what I mean? And it's all about your mind state, you know what I mean? When you have that mind state that you're tapping into, like, something new, it's kind of like sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. You don't have that
Uncapped.
yeah, exactly, something capping you or stopping you. So that's really what really was for me in my experience, because coming from the industry I was, being a salary job, no matter how many hours I put in, how many hours,
Oh man,
overtime I put in,
let's dig into that, man.
I'm going to be capped. With the position that I'm in right now, there's no cap. I could, if I put in 10 hours, 15 hours, and of course of the right work. You know what I mean?
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
using your time wisely.
Yes,
Right.
Sky's the limit.
And there's another book that I always reference, "Who Moved My Cheese."
Who moved my cheese?
Yeah, "Who Moved My
That's a
Cheese"
new one for me.
with Sniff and Scurry and Ooh and Ah. And with Sniff and Scurry, they're rats, right? So they don't have the human intellect to hold them back, right? So Sniff and Scurry, they're in a maze. So Sniff and Scurry kind of just move towards the food, which is wherever that cheese is, right? And sniffing around, Scurry just working, right? Ooh and ah, they're thinking, they're analyzing, they're going through the process of analysis of paralysis, basically, right? And none of them is necessarily too bad, because we need different type of people
Correct.
to make the world what it is. But at the end of the day, in our line of work, we got to be scurrying, man.
Yes,
and we got to be sniffing, and we got to be going. We can't be just
We
looking
gotta,
around.
we have a little bit of both of those,
Right?
We gotta analyze, and
you
we
have
gotta
to
sniff, and we gotta
analyze.
scurry.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to hunt. You know what I mean? Every day we have to get out there and pretty much make a living. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but where I was going with that, at the sense is, everybody got need, and those needs are financial need, and nobody want to feel capped, like there's a ceiling, a glass ceiling or whatever. And most people get presented with the idea to have the cap lift, but you have to take a risk. But people don't take the risk. How would you encourage somebody to, like, don't stay where you are and complain? Don't complain, be happy. Or if you're gonna complain, just get with it and start something. What would you do to encourage or say to somebody who
If
is
I
in
was
that
to-
space?
If I was to encourage anybody, it's like, don't get comfortable. You know what I mean? This is a vast world we live in, and there's a lot of things that, we all should see before that day comes for us. And, due to how the thing's set up, finances or money plays a major part into getting you there. So it's just like, just don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. You know what I mean? You always want to push yourself to the next level, challenge yourself. You know what I mean? Being complacent is the closest thing to death.
Yo, man, that's fire, pure fire right there, man.
I don't know if I came off too harsh with that one.
No,
but yeah,
bro.
I mean, we always want to be setting new bars, setting new standards, don't just,
Yeah, and I've said it before on here. If you're not growing, you're decaying. If you're not moving forward, you're going back. So that is a very interesting way how you put it, to kind of have people tap into their own mind to realize that, if you want stuff, you gotta work.
work, exactly.
Like
Rihanna said.
Right? You got to work, man. It is definitely, man, been a huge pleasure, kind of having you on, digging to, some of the stuff that you've mentioned. With your line of work, if you could like just wave a magic wand, and for most of the people that you meet with would just say, hey, I can get the house, and they'll move into it and not procrastinate, right? Because that's a big thing. With people who wants to make a decision, even when they know, I procrastinated for 5 years before I bought my first house. 5 years. And this is a sales guy saying that. I'm not kidding. Like, how do you encourage people to make a good, because like, how are you going to lose to buy a house? And I'm pretty sure you see it because it sells itself.
All the time.
But you got to hold their hand. How do you do that, man? How do you encourage people to not sit on their, and not be too comfortable?
I honestly, for me, I'm not a pushy guy, you know what I mean? So I just, I really listen to what they say, what they tell me. I'm a good listener. And then I emphasize on the things that they tell me. You know what I mean? I emphasize it being the fact that I was like, okay, this is what you told me you want. So this is what we need to do to get there. Or, if this is what you want, why is this a holdback or something that's, why are you waiting? You know what I mean? The time is now. I create that,
Urgency.
That urgency that the time is now. You know what I mean? Not by my creation, by presenting them, facts.
With the facts,
Statistics,
man.
yes.
Because
I
that house
put in
that I
their face.
procrastinated, it was $210K, bro. By the time I was ready to buy a house, the same house was like $315.
Easily.
And that's between
Easily.
2017 and 2020.
Easily.
Bro. And I'm like I could have just bought that house, paid it off. Like, for real. I'm not even kidding.
No, honestly.
Bought the house, paid it off, and have like $100,000 of extra money. And I'm like, why did I do that?
It's a normal behavior, you know what I mean? It's a big purchase, to be honest with you. It's probably like the largest purchase you would probably make in your life, you know what I mean? Really and truly for some people or most people. So, I do understand that, and I don't push people, but I listen, and then I create that. Hey, this is why. This is the reason why we.
What I'm hearing you use what we call question-based selling. So you ask a lot of questions,
Yes, sir.
to kind of make sure they're giving you the information that they want. So it's more of a consultative approach.
Kind of, yes, because it's not a sales approach at all. Like, again, my wife likes to say that this is sales. No, because she comes from she's from Jamaica as well, but she comes from selling timeshares and stuff like that.
Wow,
So
that
that is
hardcore stuff.
Yes, hardcore. So I always try to. She's like, you need to tap into that because you let these people drag you around. I was like, no, I don't, because I'm not in a sales position. I am a person that actually helps people accomplish their goals. You know what I mean? And when you tell me what you want to do, I tell you how we're going to get there. I'm the guy that bring you to get you there. So I just create the need.
Create a need.
I create a need, based off what they tell me, what you tell me, what you want, or what you want to do. I tell you how that looks like, and what would that look like later if we don't move forward on it now.
Yeah. Again, yeah, it was a pleasure, man.
Definitely, Sheldon.
It really
Yes,
was a
yes.
pleasure to have you out. I welcome folks back. But for sure, man, as the market progresses, I would definitely like to chat with you more on these topics. And I know I'm kind of going in and out, but just my mind keeps going. The fact that I said the market keep going actually brings up a question. So let me just
Go
ask
ahead,
that
let's
real
get
quick.
into it.
What has it been like, man, since you saw those stimulus check? You remember when COVID?
2020.
Yeah. And what did you see happen with the market pre-COVID, post-COVID, and where are you expecting it to go with these interest rates? Because I bought my house like 2 years ago. Finally bought one, right? And then you see when I wait, like I'm gonna tell people, like if y'all need to buy a house, man, these things, the price always go up, bro.
Yes.
By the time I was ready in 2020, my family size done grew. That $300,000 house doesn't even come close to what I need.
You are a good example, man.
So if I just put that money in that house, I would have had equity to flip to get into the bigger house.
Exactly.
And I'm like I'm the perfect example.
Yes, you are.
Of why you not need to wait if you know you need to buy a.
Yeah.
But yeah, what have you seen with the market?
Well, in the past 4 years, I would say the market's been really and truly like no other before. So we all know about the 2020 boom from 2019 to 2020 because of the interest rates. You know, in 2019, interest rates were about where they are now, right? Interest rates were about like 5%, 6% back in 2018, 19.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just about that. And then, you know, in 2020, you know, everything we'll see interest rates as low as 1.8. That's the lowest I've seen.
Yeah.
So you look at it like this. When interest rates are down, prices of houses are up. When interest rates are up, prices of houses kind of move sideways in this market. You know, I won't say are down, but you know, they stay on the market a little bit longer to give you a little bit more buying power, negotiation power. So right now, what the market is looking like, you know, our interest rates are anywhere between 6 to 7%. It's still a competitive market. We are still having less than 3 months of inventory on the market, meaning that it's still a seller's market. You know, homes are still going. Good homes go fast. You know. Homes are still going above asking price, but you know, homes are staying a little bit in comparison from 2020 to now. You'll see homes staying on the market about, you know, anywhere from 30 to 45 days. Right now is kind of the range.
So there's a specific reason why I opened this office for this location, like right here in Pearland, like Broadway 288 area, is for the simple fact within 15 minutes. We have Manville, Pomona area right down the
Big
street.
up and coming area right there. Booming.
Right across
Yes.
that, you got Rosharon,
Yes.
Arcola,
Booming.
you know, Colony. They're just booming right up above that up Highway 6.
And still affordable.
And still affordable, right? You know, you end up in Missouri City, more construction going on over there in Parks Edge. Like just by nature of me planting this business here.
This is a nice location too. I really like this
appreciate
office,
that.
man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And just the growth of the area. They say all boat, you know, raise tides, right? All boat raise in tides, something like that. But
Yeah, I get it.
that's one of the key feature of why I decided to, and kind of coming back to localization and content creation. I mean, these people are gonna be sick of me, dude. I'm being honest because
We're looking forward to it,
the
man.
thing is, in the most positive way, obviously, right? Because the thing is, you buy a house, you're gonna need energy. You're going to need energy. People now get to choose. Even 5 years ago, since you used 4 or 5 years ago, it for most people it wasn't even a thought. Am I gonna use renewables like solar, or am I just gonna use the electricity company? I can tell from all this new construction that's going up, a lot of people are considering it. A lot of people are actually getting it. I don't know if it's the bone to pick or whatnot. In the realtor space, I'm just kind of say this.
I was a little afraid of this one right here. Let's go. I'll give it to
let
you.
it fly, right?
Let it go.
Let
go.
it fly. In the realtor space, man, there's two camps, in my opinion. Realtors were like, sure, get them solar panels. I mean, you're going to pay for electricity anyways.
Correct.
Right? Because the whole selling point of getting solar panel is a replacement bill. It's not a new bill, kind of like back in the day where you had to come up with thousands of dollars just to put the thing on your roof. There is a federal tax incentive available right now where they legit don't have to pay a dime to get the panels on the roof. So it's the question is, do you want to pay the light company or you want to pay for your own solar, your own mini power plant, right?
Gotcha.
But again, from my observation going on close to a decade now in this space, just dealing with realtors in general, two camps. Some are like, yo, get the solar, man. And some will tell these customer every and anything just not to get the solar. And I'm like, is it your house or what? Like, make these people make their own goddamn decision. What? I don't know what camp you fall in, bro, but let's just be honest. And why do you think that is?
Sheldon, you my brother, man, you know, and I'm just gonna speak freely.
Yeah, go ahead.
When it comes on to the solar, I'm not necessarily on the camp where I say don't get it or get it. I'm kind of this is like if you're gonna get it or if you have it,
Just speak freely, man.
let's do it after the deal is done, or let's look for houses that don't have it, because of it does get a little it could get a little complex when you work in a transaction, because you know those things have like leases, and you know you have to go ahead and get that transferred, and I don't have a lot of experience with dealing with that, because based on what I just said, I kind of be like, hey, if you're gonna get it, let's find a house without it and you put it on yourself. Let's not get a house that has it, because of it just it kind of it just adds an extra part to the transaction that don't want to be dealt with sometimes.
Don't want to be dealt with. Okay, and I
Yes.
appreciate your candid,
Yes,
being
yes.
very candid on that. And based off what I'm hearing, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, based off what I'm hearing, you're saying is some realtors don't want to deal with it
During the transaction process.
during the transaction.
Yes, because it's just like an addition to an additive.
Why would you say they don't want to deal with it? Let me ask that then before I make any assumption.
Because if those leases are not paid up, and you know up to you know where they're supposed to be, then we have to deal with that, you know, via title company, or get those paid off before we close on a transaction, or transfer that over. It just gets a little colluded, you know what I mean, when dealing with the transaction part, you know, dealing with my part of it, you know what I mean, and
I'm glad I'm talking to a realtor about it, because you know I've never really I'm like, guys, just have these people get this, and I get your point 100%. Just coming from your shoes, I mean, it's slowing up your process to get to your bag,
get to the end goal.
to get to the end goal, right? You know, there may be an extra step or two. It's not like it's wrong or right, or it's going to put them in necessarily a bad or better position. It's just a couple of extra steps.
It's just
Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
That's pretty much what I'm saying.
And you're right. Yes, some solar system come with leases. In Texas, that's the minority. Very, very, very few homes are coming with leases, because the cost per kilowatt hour here is, because Texas is considered deregulated, is one of the reasons why that is, right? So the cost per kilowatt hours is not as conducive for somebody to do a lease, because with most lease, not only you'll have to pay them off at the end. I'm actually on your camp with that. Not only you'd have to pay them off at the end, or buy it out, or transfer it, they typically come with like an escalator. An escalator basically means that they're trying to gauge the market, but who really knows where the market is going, right? So I don't sell leases.
Gotcha.
I do straight ownership.
Okay.
Like you take out a loan, and you buy this thing the same way you buy your house.
You buy it outright.
So I'm saying, yo, it's zero down, because of the solar financing that are out there. They stretch it out over like a 25-year period, just like a house. But that typically means that you're beating, or at least matching, what you're paying to the electricity company anyways.
Gotcha.
Right? So now if you decide to move, right? I work with realtors as well. So, you know, that sell homes that had a solar panel, and a lot of them reach back out to me to work again. Because like with every home improvement, you could get a pool and you turn folks off. You could do your bathroom and you turn folks off.
Correct.
You could do solar panel and you turn a certain segment of folks off, right? But you also attract others. But if it's sold right, if the system is designed right, it could be just a simple transfer of the payment, or most people kind of just wrap it up in the total cost.
Like they could wrap it up in their loan?
Yeah, in the total cost of the loan. And no, the person that's purchasing the home, when they buy their home, they're already thinking long term. When they buy their home, no, they buy their electricity.
Correct.
You see what I mean? So most people, when you present it like that, it's like a no-brainer. So for me, lease is a no. In most scenario in Texas. No, with the cost per kilowatt hour going up, yes, when you start getting up into 20 cents per kilowatt hour, 25 cents per kilowatt hour, and thereabout, which it's getting there. Because when I started, it was 7, 8, 9, 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Yeah, legit. You could even find some 3 cents. And this is just 7, 8 years ago. Now it's 16, 17, 18. So even in Texas, the lease option is going to start making sense. It always made sense in places like California because their cost per kilowatt hour is like 45 cents, 30 cents and above, right? So I think, man, this is my viewpoint on it. I think realtors are leaving a shit ton of money on the table, bro. You know why I say that? Because most folks that we talk to, I could be smooth as smooth, and I can be smooth. Let me put that up. Because I got my ish down, bro. I've been doing it for a long time. My presentation is to avoid objections.
Gotcha.
So by the time I get to the end of it, you're gonna have to come up with some weird thing like I'm gonna die next year, right? for this not to make sense to you. Like some weird thing like can you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So I think, in my opinion, realtors are leaving because even when I'm that smooth and I get to the end goal, sometime an Achilles heels could be, well, I gotta talk to my realtor.
Oh, okay.
Bro, they're saying I gotta go talk to y'all.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I gotta go talk to y'all, and that's perfect, right? But then y'all discourage them. And in my opinion, it's for lack of information with a lot of the realtors.
I can agree with that because I'm very ignorant into
Because
that
it's
solar
new.
space.
Because it's new. And then I find that with us as business owners, right? We do what we do and we do what we do well. We don't want to even consider anything else. And I think that's the unfortunate scenario that's been going on with the solar and realtor, not even giving a go-ahead. Because just like when I started, I was so singular focused that a realtor come to me and I'm like, yeah, I'm good with the solar. Right? They don't want to think solar. They don't want to think to sell solar. And then many of them, just like you, the good ones, I would imagine, see themselves as consultant, see themselves as just simple problem solvers. So the simple fact that they have to go try to sell this thing, it just turns them all the way off. And then if you are a specialist, like if you're a cardiologist or, you're a doctor, right? And then somebody is going to ask you something about the brain or whatever. Like, you're not a brain surgeon. No. So you're simply going to tell them, hey, either that's on you or tell them no, because the last thing you want is for that person to come back and tell you that you made them make a dumb choice.
Exactly.
And we've been seeing that. So what I encourage realtors to do is just to set that expectation with the homeowner. Don't discourage them. Set the expectation like, yeah, this is a thing. Go ahead and look at it from your own standpoint.
Or just give Sheldon a call, man. He could just go.
I mean, that works too. That totally works too, man. And then so that's kind of like my view on it. I kind of got too deep into it, but yeah, so it's a great product for realtors to push, and it becomes lucrative on both sides because they move in, they're gonna buy the house, Okay, let me put this for my last argument.
I do have one question.
Go ahead, sure.
What kind of value do you think adding solar brings to the property?
Great question.
Monetary value,
Monetary
like market value for the house.
So they've the Berkeley Institute have done research, and they've done homes from all over the country, homes that add solar on it. The value add probably like 3%.
3%
Yeah,
property.
about 3%. Okay, and that's studied and well documented. Okay, but from my standpoint, you know, it's a product that, from the monetary standpoint, that's the answer, like flat out. But just simply from a standpoint of control, right? And now with battery technology, security, it's hard for you to really put a solid monetary value on security. Like if there's a power outage and you have lights, right?
We just experienced something like that not too long ago.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and I always point out to homeowners as well, for the simple fact that just something like inflation, we're talking about interest rate, you see. You know, when interest rate keeps spiking and stuff like that, to mitigate that, inflation is like a thing, right? With the solar space, a lot of time, just by locking your price in for energy, it makes so much sense. In my mind, it's the same sale as buying a house, bro. Because the cost of house always go up. The cost of energy always go up. So why not, if you don't have to pay any money out of your pocket, do it?
Gotcha.
You see? So that's my 2 cents on stuff like that. But yeah, I do see that it's two camps, and some people fall in either or. But which of the camp that you fall into?
I'm in the gray area.
You're in the gray area. You're right there in the middle.
Yeah, I'm in the gray area, man. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna develop a relationship over time, man. You might come over to the to the solar side.
I'm
man.
looking forward to it. I'm all
Yeah.
about doing what's best for my client. You know what I mean? Really and truly, that's what all I'm about. And if it makes sense, then
because that's how we met, right? Was through one of your clients that we were talking to, was considering solar. Oh, and I was saying this for my last argument to realtors, because I'm talking to you, but in general, right? The thing is, they're gonna get them panels anyways. And if you want to do the right thing for your customer, find a local solar company to partner with, because they're gonna get it. And people are sending people from Utah, California. Nothing wrong against Utah or California or Florida or wherever. Especially nothing against Florida, right? You're Houstonian. You admitted that. You admitted that.
I
Right?
myself a Houstonian.
But what's going on is these companies are coming here, and this has been on my heart, man. They come here, they put the panels on, right, and they basically disappear.
They go away.
That's the reason. Yeah, so that's or some of the other background stuff that people don't like, right? It's like getting a roofer, put the thing on, and just disappear.
These things require servicing, correct?
Not. Like, so there's no moving parts.
Okay, so
None. They have a thing, an inverter on the side of the house, or some of them have micro inverters onto the panel, where convert the direct current to AC current that the home uses. That can go out sometime, but they are usually warranted 12 to 25 years.
Okay.
And to answer your question with a number, Berkeley Labs, in partnership with universities and appraisers, has found solar unequivocally improves the value of a home on an average of an amount of $15,000.
Sweet.
On a 5 kW system.
5 kW system.
Yeah, so if you continue, we'll tell you that. On a 5 kW system. So a 5 kW system is like below average size of a home.
Okay.
Here, the average system size for Texas is probably like 12 kW.
And that's going to be by on the size of the house, right?
But exactly. Okay. So just kind of add that 15K. No, it's a 10K, 30K,
Okay.
KW 30K. You know what I mean? So that's a pretty So that's really Sheldon right there. That's Sheldon right there, kind of just abruptly messing with my interview, man. But I appreciate that fact. I appreciate that fact, Sheldon. But again, man, it really been a pleasure.
I agree.
Really been a pleasure.
Yes, it has.
Having you on. We should definitely build that relationship as far as, local stuff like that. But from one island guy to the next, man, one love, brother.
One love.
Respect.
Appreciate it, man. I thank you guys for
Awesome.
having me.
I love this, man. It was good.